shown. She's waiting for you. Deep in the jungle, there's an animal who can't be lied to. She's coming for you, she's coming for you. Don't resist, got nothing to lose, nothing to lose. What's to miss? She's coming for you, she's coming for you. Don't resist, got nothing to lose, nothing to lose. Hey, get out of your head. Don't run from the fear of your expectations. Hey, get out of your head. Don't run from the fear of your
Guys, welcome back to the Pretend Pundits. Andy and Sean back again to pretend to know about football. Ben, Skills, welcome in, guys. Glad to see you. It's been a long couple of weeks. We've chosen what is a very painful day to return. A sad day for a United and an Arsenal fan to be talking about it. But Man City have been crowned Premier League champions for the third year in a row. Painful from a United perspective. Sean, how about you, mate? How's it feeling? It's got to be worse for you, right?
Congratulations, Man City. I hope you're very happy. What a sad little life you have.
You got all the grace and decorum of a reversing dump truck with no tyres on.
You bastards.
Yeah. It's amazing what having the best manager in the world can do and unlimited funds from your sugar daddies. But, you know, it is what it is. I think all we've got to do now, I'm going to try my absolute hardest to not be completely bitter and salty about it for the rest of the stream. It will be a struggle, though, I will have to say. But, yeah, congratulations, Man City. Let's just all cross our fingers now and hope that the treble goes absolutely nowhere.
And all 115 charges of bribery and corruption are brought against you, and you dissolve as a club. Pep leaves, and then Richard Dunn takes over and takes you down to the Vanarama.
That's it. Tanya, welcome in. I'll just pretend to know about football. Hey, we do it every week, and we've been getting away with it so far. So there you go. Welcome in. Thank you very much for joining the stream. On today's episode, we're going to be obviously talking about the Premier League review, as we always do. The GOAT is leaving, ? Yes, the GOAT is leaving. Stick around to find out who that is. We'll have a quick catch-up on some European football and the playoffs, and then we'll talk about what's coming up. But yeah, we're absolutely glad to be back. It's been too much of a long time to be away, but we are back for good now, and we're going to keep on pushing that content out for you. So if you haven't done already, get down in the description, find all of our socials and give us a follow. TikTok, Insta. We've got a Twitch. We don't even use it, but follow us on Twitch. Why the hell not? And if you want to get involved with discussions every day with us, get in that Discord group. The link is in the description. So, Sean, other than Man City having to lift the trophy in front of our eyes today, how are you? How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I've had a good week this week. Been productive. Had a day off. We went to go and do an escape room. That was good fun, wasn't it?
We did, mate. Yeah, we had a little outing. Obviously, for those who don't know me and Sean, we do go way back. We organised a little meeting, and it's been a few years since we've seen each other. We went to an escape room run by one of my very good friends, Brett, in Spalding. So if you live in the area and you're a friend of mine, then please go ahead and check him out. He's on Instagram, Rush Hour Escape Rooms. Oh my God, an alert's just come up, and I've realised it's behind everything else. So whoever just subscribed, thank you very much. Let me know who you are so I can thank you properly. Let me just move that so that's back at the top now. We need to see who the people are subscribing as we go along, right?
Absolutely. One of the things I said to Andy when I see him on Thursday, I go, "You've grown a few inches." He's enormous now. He's 6'4". Made me look like a dwarf.
Oh, you was talking about my height. I thought you was talking about something else. I've certainly not grown a few inches there. Shrunk, if anything. Right, let's move on then. To the Premier League review, and as pictured, we've got the bloody Man City people celebrating the league win. That's annoying. That's 3 in a row. There was a discussion going on Sky Sports today. Oh, it was Tanya. Thank you very much for the sub. Much appreciated. I think that makes you sub number 150, so thank you very much. Yeah, I think the discussion was, are Man City now to be considered one of the best teams in English football history? What do you think on that?
I would say so, but I think that they've got to win the treble to be in the discussion, because they got 100 points that season, didn't they?
Yeah.
A few seasons back. that team was incredible. But with Erling Haaland in the front, I think if they win the treble, absolutely nailed on.
Yeah.
I think it would be a bigger achievement than the 99 treble personally, but that's because I'm not a Man United fan.
No, I think what it is it's been something that people have delayed, like the inevitable. Like United fans are not going to want to admit this. Not many people are going to want to admit it, but they are. I mean, they've won a treble in when they won the Premier League, FA, and Carabao. Like you said, they've been Centurions. They beat Liverpool to the league when they had an insane amount of points. The players are just top quality, you know, all the way through their bench and reserves.
Yeah.
It's annoying to say, and it was even like Roy Keane. Roy Keane even admitted it. He said, as much as I hate to say it, they're just dominant. It does help, like I say, having the funds and having the best manager, but you just can't deny them now, can you? What is that? 5 out of the last 6 years they've won it as well.
Insane. And Pep Guardiola's only 16 trophies away from Sir Alex Ferguson's record. I can't remember what it is. It's either 60 or 68 or something. But yeah, only 16 more trophies. And he's very much into the beginning of his career as a manager, isn't he?
Yeah.
Pep's got another 20 years if he wants to manage for that long.
I mean, for me, I know, and this is literally clutching at straws, but for me, him being that close to the record, you know, he's got no Champions League trophies with City at the minute. And I think, unfortunately, the Premier League has become a bit of a league that's only dominated by 2 teams over the last few years.
Yeah.
Whereas back in Sir Alex Ferguson's day, you know, the league was a lot more competitive. It was always going down to the last couple of games of the season, which hasn't been the case for the last couple of years. But like I said, that is really me just clutching at straws, not wanting to admit that they're great, but they are. And I think, like you said, to really cement it, they're going to have to go and, even if they lose the FA Cup final, which they're probably not going to, let's be honest, even if they lose that and win the Champions League, that's still a huge achievement.
If, just hypothetical question here, but if Manchester United win the League Cup and the FA Cup and Man City only win the Premier League, have Man United had a better season?
No, not a chance. I mean, you can't just win 2 cups and then, because the Premier League's like 38 games, isn't it? Like, well, I mean, I'll stand by it that we've had the better season than Arsenal, but I'm not having it that if you can't win all the amount of cups. I mean, if you was to say them 2 plus the Europa League, you could say it's probably close, you know, going to the end of 3 competitions, but 2 domestic cups, I'd sooner have a Premier League than those 2 domestic cups. That's the way you've got to think about it.
Definitely.
So yeah, other than Man City, what do you call it? Winning the league, that's it. There's been a few other games happening. Something that I did find that went under the radar a little bit was Brighton. So Brighton obviously played today as well. It was in between the West Ham and Leeds games. Brighton have actually secured European football today. They only need a point to secure Europa League, but they're in the Conference League regardless. I think that's massive, right?
It's the first time they've ever had European football as well at Brighton, which is amazing.
That's absolutely huge. And also Newcastle are 1 point away from securing Champions League football, which again I love this sort of thing, right? If it's, obviously I prefer Man United to be there, but when it comes to these other teams, I don't want to see the same top 4. I don't want to see the same top 6, you know? I think it's between Villa and Tottenham for the other spot for the 7th. If Brighton obviously don't lose their games. One of Brighton's games is actually Villa. I think that's their last game, isn't it?
We can find out.
I could be wrong. But yeah, Spurs and Leeds are playing each other. That's their last game. So Leeds, they lost today. They're clinging on for dear life. Safety in the Premier League is in their hands. And Tottenham are going to be fighting for Europe. So that is going to be a really good game to watch. It's the last game of the season next week, Sean. Are you sad? Are you as sad as me?
It's been a great season, and I've loved 95% of it. But yeah, it's been a good season. We've grown as a team, but yeah, I will be sad when it's over. It's been a bit disjointed with the Winter World Cup. I didn't like that. I hope we never do a Winter World Cup ever again. For me, the World Cup should be in the summer. All international football should be in the summer.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I'll look back at the season with a lot of pride and a lot of good memories.
Yeah, I mean, what are your realistic expectations of next season? Because I think it's fair to say Arsenal have exceeded your expectations this season, you know, being in a title race for so long. Do you think there's a
Yeah.
chance that they kick on and can go one step further next season? Or do you think it might be focus on the cups? What do you think it is?
So I personally don't think that we'll go up and challenge for the league again. I think this season was a bit of a fluke. We're probably ahead of schedule. When Arsenal signed Willian, we sold him this story of 4-year project to get back to the top of the league and back in the Champions League. And obviously, the season that we had Willian, he was dog shit. And then we got rid of him. I think we're probably 2 years away if we continue at the rate we're going. We need a heavy reinvestment in the summer for the midfield. If we can add to the existing positions that we've got, keep every player that we want to keep, and get rid of Cedric, then I think that we'll be fine. Maybe we'll have another challenge. All Premier League fans should currently be praising Arsenal for not allowing Man City to run away with the Premier League title and at least make it interesting for a little bit longer. So that's my story. That's what I'm sticking to it. Currently, Man City have 88 points with 2 games left to go. They were always going to win it.
Yeah,
but it's been nice for Arsenal to be in the discussion for a little while longer.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see the title race go on a bit longer. And obviously, as a United fan, I would have much preferred to see Arsenal win it. But you know, it's happened now, and I think, like you say, this was their chance, if any. Obviously, as the season comes to an end and we look towards the new season, we'll do our predictions and stuff like that. I honestly think that Liverpool are going to come back stronger. I don't know about their reinvestment. If they sort that midfield out, I think it could be another Man City and Liverpool league.
I think you're right.
Jurgen Klopp, he does love to play a second string team when it comes to cup competitions, doesn't he? Skill says Newcastle he thinks going to win the league next season. I'm not of that same belief. A summer break can completely change a team. I think you just need to hit the ground running when you start the season. Newcastle have looked like one of the best teams in the Premier League in the last run of, I'd say, probably 10 games. Yeah. And when I watch them, they make their games just look so easy. And it's crazy that they haven't added, I know it's going to be harsh on them, but they haven't added like quality European talent players into the team. They've just become a top Premier League team. Yeah. So the fans as well, the atmosphere, European nights at St. James's Park, it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be, I'm looking forward to it. I'm just, like I said, I'm happy that another English team is in it that's not, you know, just the same Liverpool, City, whoever.
I think Chelsea have all the makings to be a top team. They've just got to have a bit more direction and a bit more strategy. Mm-hmm. But the core of their players that they've brought in are easily capable of mounting a challenge for the Premier League title. They just need to work out how many players they need, have the right number of players in and around the first team, get rid of some of the deadwood. Aubameyang, did you see Aubameyang? He got a La Liga trophy. A La Liga medal because of his involvement with Barcelona.
He has been more involved with Barca this season than Chelsea, to be fair. So
yeah,
that does make sense.
He's gone to Barcelona to celebrate whilst all the Chelsea players are still playing.
Yeah, he's just a glory hunter. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Another question I wanted to ask you was, I heard it in the build-up to the West Ham versus Leeds game. Now, what he said was, this is one of the perfect times for Leeds to be playing West Ham. Obviously, they've just secured themselves a Conference League final.
Yep.
But do you buy into that at all, that teams might not try as hard if they've got a big game coming up, or if nothing rests on the rest of the season for them? Because I don't, personally. No. We played Bournemouth on Saturday, right? And they've got nothing to play for, and they still played exceptionally well. They had equally as many chances as United did. Not dangerous chances, but they still put up a good performance. We only managed a 1-0, whether that's a lack of our attacking threat or what. And then you have a look at West Ham. You know, they have got a big game coming up, and they played, again, absolutely fantastically. So I don't know if I buy into it or not. What do you think?
I think I'd be tempted to play a slightly rotated team,
Yeah.
but I don't think David Moyes is the type of character that wouldn't want to put 100% out there on the pitch and try and win the game. But yeah, I definitely have one eye on the Conference League final. I think is there something like 2 weeks and 2 weeks between the end of the season and the Conference League final or something.
I know it's on a
So
Wednesday. I don't know what day it is, but yeah, you get like a full rest and everything. But I think it's more. I think it's more the fact they've just come back from it.
Mm-hmm.
And as Ben Ray says, Man City sent the reserves out today for the Guard of Honour. That's quite a typical thing as well, right? I mean,
yeah. I think Fergie did it once, didn't he? And he put some absolute nobodies out there on the pitch for Chelsea to clap.
And yeah, it just is what it is. I mean, Man City, they've now got the league wrapped up. They're going to have their celebrations, but they've got a Champions League final and an FA Cup final to come up. So,
yeah.
You know,
which is first? Is it the FA Cup final first?
Yeah, it is. So it's not all hopes on us. So they haven't won the Champions League by the time they get to us, which I'm glad. But I think we'll get to it when we talk about the European players. But I think they have to win it now, right? They can't lose another final and the opponent. No.
Here's one stat for you that a Croatian player has won the Champions League every year since 2013, and there's a Croatian player on Inter Milan's side.
Yeah, there's no Croatians at Man City. Are they going to put like a 11th hour bid in to get an emergency signing for Mandzukic or something? Oh dear. Right. Yeah. So they're the results. The rest of the results are up there on the screen. Tottenham losing from a winning position. That's hilarious. A shame that Harry Kane scored such a banging goal as well. Fulham, Crystal Palace, another Deadwood game. Mitrovic back from his suspension on the score sheet. We could have had Champions League sealed, but Aston Villa conceded late on to Liverpool, which is still a great result for them to go to Anfield and not concede 7 like some teams do. Fantastic. You know, they're in a fight for Europe as well. So, yeah, love that. A shame, but yeah, we've got to get one more point now from our next games. Wolves, Everton. Again, Everton, a big point potentially for them going into the last game of the season. And Nottingham Forest beating Arsenal. Honestly, mate, I saw the goal, but I didn't really watch much else of the game. Was there anything to it? What did you think of the game on the day?
We look like we're all on our holidays. We're lacking ideas. We look like Arsenal of old. Arsenal of old under Arsene Wenger used to play against 2 banks of 4 constantly. Players would just compact the centre of the box, and it was just like that. We didn't know what to do with the ball. We had no target man. Jesus seemed to fall over more times with the ball than anybody else on that pitch. Saka from the right looks like he's tired. He's been involved in the last 78 league games or something ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Starting every single Premier League game this season, apart from one in which he came on as a sub. He needs a break, but we don't have enough quality to allow him to do that. We deserve to lose, and fair play to Forest because the stadium was rocking. They were incredible.
I don't think there's anyone from... excuse me. I don't think there's anyone from Arsenal that is like up for leaving. Is there any of their good players? I don't think you'd want to leave now, would you?
Granit Xhaka was supposedly going to buy Leverkusen, which I'll be disappointed at because he's 30 or 31, and I think he's got enough left in him to continue playing.
But if you get Declan Rice, then you're not going to argue, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just one step closer to Mohamed El Neni playing. And whilst I like El Neni now, I didn't under Unai Emery. The guy was a donkey. But I personally had to keep Xhaka. I think that he's got a lot to offer the team. His leadership qualities, his abilities. He's quite fluid. He can play at left back if you really have to. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'd be disappointed to see him go, even though he threw off his shirt and said he'll never play for the club again and then demanded to leave. And yeah.
Been a roller coaster ride for Xhaka, eh?
It has. And I think he's always been incredibly professional for the club. Apart from that one moment of madness where Unai Emery was putting everything on Granit Xhaka and making it his fault that we were playing so terribly.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll miss him when he goes, and I'm sure he'll leave this summer.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit unfair to Unai because obviously he is a good manager. He's since won the Europa League and he's doing good things at Villa. So maybe just a clash, but yeah, it'll be a shame obviously for Arsenal fans for him to go. But I honestly think you could get a lot better quality in that position. Let's have a little quick look here then. So they're the results. Let's pull up the Prem table and just have a look through. Of course, Man City crowned champions. At the other end of the table, Southampton already relegated. That was last week. That's already old news at this point.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest, whilst securing themselves safety, inadvertently gave Man City the title. Everton, Leeds and Leicester then are the last teams that are potentially up for relegation. Leicester play tomorrow.
Yep, Newcastle.
Newcastle need a point. They're at home. I can't see anything other than a demolition job here for Newcastle.
Yeah, I would agree.
Get the job done. Then the season, the summer break begins early. So hypothetically then we're going to say Leicester lose tomorrow. Who does that leave in contention for relegation for you? Everton, it's in their hands on the last day of the season. It's all in their own hands, realistically.
Yeah. The goal difference of Leicester is better than the goal difference of Everton, though. So that's, let's say Leicester win and Leeds win. That's Everton. Oh, no, wait.
Yeah, so the last games are Everton against Bournemouth, Everton at home. I think they've got one of the most favourable games there.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Leeds, Tottenham. Leeds
easy three
at home.
Easy 3 points.
For
Leeds.
And then Leicester have got West Ham. Now, obviously, you've got to bear in mind that it's a week. Oh, it's a week and a half after. So West Ham are going to be probably prepping for the Europa.
Mm-hmm.
But Leicester at home, Leicester have just been so flat. Honestly, they're just one of the most boring teams this season. And it's shocking, really, considering Harvey Barnes, such a talent, James Maddison. They're just going to get picked apart for their players and they're going to struggle in the Championship, let's be honest.
I'd agree, yeah. Jamie Vardy's, 35? He's not saving the day anymore.
Yeah, and I honestly think with Everton having the most favourable game there, I think Everton go. I think it's in their hands and they take it.
I mean, they were incredibly lucky to pick up a point the other day. Was it the 99th minute or something silly that Yeremina scored in?
Yeah.
Incredibly lucky to do so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If they didn't pick up that draw, I think that they'd be on for the drop as well. But they do have the most favourable one of the lot. But Bournemouth have been playing well the last few games.
They have, yeah. I mean, they've certainly on the run to getting themselves safe. It was the case. But yeah, they've got nothing to play for. It doesn't mean they're not going to play, but I just think Goodison Park's one of them crowds that are always up for the big games, and I think this is the one where the fans get them over the line. In my opinion, Sean Dyche gets the job done. He knows teams like Bournemouth like the back of his hand. As Burnley manager, he knows I think he'll know exactly how to break this team down.
I'm just surprised after all the charges have been dropped against Sigurdsson that he's not been re-invited back into the team.
Yeah, no, it's a sticky one, that isn't it? Not in that sense, but Ben says Leicester will beat West Ham last game of the season. West Ham will be sending out the academy team. Will they, though? I mean, surely you want game minutes to get... Obviously, you don't want to risk injury and stuff, but you want minutes in your legs of your players that are going to be playing in the final, right? Regardless.
Yeah.
Especially away, I don't know. It depends how you approach it, but what do you think, Ben? Do you think Declan Rice is gone? I mean, there was talking about it today. He obviously got on the score sheet for the equaliser, and they were saying this could be his final sort of swan song. I think he will be gone because there's always been this facade of he's not for sale, he's not for sale. He's 120 million if you want him, like, keep away. But Moyes did actually admit that, no, there's a strong possibility he actually leaves.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind betting that Declan Rice has probably got a gentleman's agreement with it's Gold and Sullivan, but one of them's died. Whichever one still remains, he's probably got a gentleman's agreement that he can go for a certain amount of price, a little bit like Harry Kane thought he had. And this will be the summer that they go, because next summer he goes on a free, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that'll be exactly like you say. They're going to get a good amount of money for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, now probably the time to cash in, reinvest for West Ham. I wonder what the future holds for them. Honestly, it's been a bad season for them, but they could be in the Europa League still after the 7th. So let's see how they go.
What always strikes me as odd with West Ham is that they sign all these incredible players and they don't really gel. And they've spent 30 odd million for Scamacca, and it's good old reliable Big Dick Mick that's up front for them, scoring the goals for them. Where is Scamacca? How many goals has Scamacca got? I dare say he's got less than 10.
Yeah, I can't say I've watched much West Ham, but from what I saw today, it's like the players that they already have doing the good work. So Lanzini, Fornells, Declan Rice, even Fabianski was looking, safe and secure at the best of times. Yeah. I know it was only Leeds, but that's what it is. I think they've just found their form a little bit towards the end of the season. I do honestly wish the best for West Ham. I've got nothing against them. If it was like Liverpool or someone in the final, couldn't give two shits. But we like to see the English teams do well that we don't hate.
Yep. That we don't hate.
Yeah, and then middle of the table, obviously nothing really going on there. It's just all a bit end of the season vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, as I said, Europa League, that 7th place spot is in the hands of Aston Villa when they play. Who is it? Aston Villa play Brighton on the last day of the season.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a couple of midweek games. We're midweek against Chelsea, 8:00 Thursday. Be looking forward to that one. There is another game on Wednesday, I believe, as well. Is it Man City and Brighton?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So a couple of good games midweek. We're in for a bit of a treat, mate.
Yeah. I wonder if it'd be nice to see Brighton do Man City, won't it?
It would, but it wouldn't mean all that much. I just genuinely would like to see Brighton get Europa League football as opposed to Conference League, because Conference League is... I don't pay attention to it as much. It is kind of dead, but there are going to be some good teams in it. So for both Brighton and Villa, European football wasn't even a thought in their minds at the start of the season, or at least a few games in potentially. But Brighton, when Potter left, were in a bit of turmoil. They lost a load of games. Villa were down in the relegation or near the relegation with Gerrard sinking them. So both of them teams are in an absolutely fantastic position. I think Brentford and Fulham will be kicking themselves a little bit, that's for sure. Let's move it on then to the next one. The GOAT is leaving. It's going to be just a little short segment, just a bit of an ode to the absolute GOAT himself, Phil Jones. It's been confirmed that he is going to be leaving Manchester United. And I don't want to be overly harsh. I think he's had a lot of criticism, and I don't think it's even criticism. I think it's just the fact he's become a meme over the last few years. Can you see him playing football again, Sean?
I don't really know what the crack is with him, because
no one
just
does.
Doesn't. Yeah, it just seems this absolute high level secrecy around him that you don't know if he's fit, you don't know if he's just incapable of playing football anymore. Even when you remember when Darren Fletcher had was it colitis that he had? There was constant communication, and he was in and out of the team constantly for like 2 years until he got better. If Phil Jones has got a medical condition that means that he can't play football, just a bit more transparency, people will be more understanding.
I think personally it's something mental health related, because there's obviously some sort of stigma attached. He did do a departing statement, and he said, he just wants to assure everybody that he's always given 100%, and he just feels like he's let people down. And I think that's like a fair assumption to have, because we've got to remember at the same time, he is a human as much as he is a funny meme human. These things are real and they do affect people. And obviously he's just not been able to find it. I think what was weird, he was obviously on the punditry team for one of the channels that had the Carabao Cup final. And he did make an appearance, I think, early on in the season, but yeah, for whatever reason, it's not worked out. Does he go and play football? Mental health aside, if that's what it is, that's what I'm gonna place my assumptions on. Mm-hmm. Does he go and play football? So. Absolutely, he does. He has to.
Yeah, he's 31, which is remarkable considering he's been around for years, hasn't he? Mm-hmm. If he's 31 or 32. Maybe West Ham will pick him up. What does Ben think? Do they want Phil Jones at West Ham?
No, they're going to focus on getting Harry Maguire, I hope. But it has to be said, Phil Jones, one of the remaining few at Man United with a Premier League winners medal under their belt.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hayes left, isn't he?
One
That's
more
the
than
last one.
Steven Gerrard. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, he's retiring. He's gone. I hope to see him in football still, and whatever it is that's been sort of hindering him, I hope he overcomes it. But yeah, he has moved on. The man, the myth, the legend himself. Europe and playoffs then, Sean. Plenty to cover in this section. We'll cover Europe first of all. So obviously all of the European finals are now set. We've got the Champions League final, Inter Milan versus Man City. I said I only think it goes one way. Do you think there's any chance that Inter could win this, or do you think it's done?
No. I thought Inter Milan were very good against AC Milan, but no, all day long, Man City. There's no way that they cock it up again. I don't think that there's enough quality in Italian football to see them out. I think that the Premier League has become so much of a monster now that a handful of English teams, if they can get past Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and maybe PSG, I think that it's an easy run in for the final. But Man City all day long. You've got that absolute monster up front who's probably going to score 5 goals.
Yeah, it's the thing is, if you have a look at Inter's run to the final as well, it's one of the crazily easiest runs I've ever seen to a final. I think was it Benfica, Bruges, and AC Milan? And then Man City.
Yeah, it's an easy run. Man City have had to beat all the tough teams to get there, which normally Man City get the easy draws, but they've shown up, they've played well, and they were all refreshed as well because Kevin De Bruyne was rested for what seemed like 6 weeks. It wasn't really getting into the first team, and I think that Pep's kind of plan to get underneath his skin to get the best out of him has really paid off, and it's so painful to watch.
It's genius. I think. See, my thinking with it is if Inter score first, I can see Man City just coming back and thrashing them. But if Man City score first, I don't see Inter getting back into it. So that's the difference between the two teams for me. The quality is obviously just different level, but it's a final. Anything can happen, right? I'm crossing all my fingers in hope, but yeah, I think they've won that before it's even started.
I'm going to go for a guess on that and go 4-0.
Oh,
I think Man City are going to go absolutely rampant.
Yeah, it depends what happens in the FA Cup final. If they win that, maybe they just get too carried away and too cocky and too arrogant. Maybe, I don't know. I just want us to play a part in them losing the treble. Okay, God damn it. Jose Mourinho makes yet another European final. He won one last year, of course, in the Conference League. Who are they playing?
Sevilla, I think.
That's right, Roma, Sevilla, and then it's West Ham versus Fiorentina in the Conference League.
I see that Jose got through with 28% possession and 1 shot on target in the second leg. The classic Jose.
I was going to say that's not a Jose tactic, is it? Yeah. So, any thoughts on that? I'm back in West Ham for the Conference League, and I think Sevilla win. I think Sevilla win Europa League again. It's like shampoo and conditioner. Sevilla and the Europa League, salt and pepper, just iconic duos, right?
Yeah. Got to push it real good.
Oh, no. Right. The other thing we've got coming up, obviously, I want to give a mention to the guy that I've put in the graphic there as well. I don't know if anyone else saw it, but the AZ Alkmaar fans, I think, stormed the West Ham end. And this dude and some other dude was just fighting off like 100 AZ fans on their own, just launching punches down these stairs. It was absolutely iconic. Playoffs then, we've got the playoff finals set. League 2, isn't it? Stockport County, one of them. I saw because Salford lost to Stockport County on penalties, so Gary Neville will be fuming.
Yeah, he'll probably sack another manager.
Yeah. I can't remember who they've got now.
I seen Nicky Butt was on the touchline the other week, wasn't he? I don't know if he's just part of the coaching staff or what.
Excuse me, I keep yawning. It's been a long day. The League One final, of course, is set as well. Sheffield Wednesday versus Barnsley. Sheffield Wednesday are there because of an absolutely monstrous bottle by Peterborough United. What the fuck was that? I didn't even realise the game was on that night because there were so many games. I was flicking through. I saw it was on and I saw it was 2-0 when I tuned in. So I don't know what had happened at this point, but they looked like they weren't even attacking. They were just sitting back and holding on for dear life.
Yeah, which just goes against everything that Posh had been doing all season. Fast, progressive, build out from the back. That first game was incredible, but yeah, it just Darren Ferguson's tactic of we do not slip now. It was awful.
Yeah, to be fair, after the 4-0 win at home, he was saying in the post-match, like, we're not going to get carried away. We know it's half-time and it's 4-0. Like, it's a great position to be in, but we're not taking anything for granted. And yeah. Hopefully he meant them words because they bottled it. I mean, there's no other way to put it. They fully bottled. The first leg was actually quite lucky to be 4-0 as well. The first goal was lucky, and they didn't look like they were even playing very well until after the third goal went in. So, yeah, a very interesting one there. So, again, I've got no horse in the race there. I probably will watch the final anyway, but a friend of mine is actually a Barnsley fan, so I'll be keeping an eye out for him. Shippy, let's go Barnsley, up the Barnsley, and then the weirdest championship playoff final. The two teams I didn't expect to be there, Luton and Coventry.
Yeah, I mean, Coventry were close to bankruptcy at one point. They didn't have a stadium. They were ground sharing.
Luton might as well not have a stadium if you've seen the away end.
Yeah, I've seen a load of funny memes of like fans turning up to Luton Grounds Stadium. And they're like up the stairs, past the toilet, through the corridor. That's how you get into the stadium.
Yeah, through John's bedroom.
Yeah, it's madness to think that the world-class footballers are going to be playing in Mrs. Johnson's back garden.
I thought Bournemouth had a terrible Premier League stadium, but Luton's just going to be like, hold my beer. Nice, like I say, it's nice to see a new face coming up to the Premier League. Who was it that Luton beat? It was Sunderland, wasn't it? Coventry, sorry. Yeah. Coventry beat Sunderland. Or Luton beat Middlesbrough. I can't remember.
Oh, I don't know. I thought Luton beat Sunderland.
It was. It was Luton Sunderland.
That's it.
So gutted, of course, for Ahmad Sunderland. But yeah, they're the finals. They're all set across Europe as well. Then I think as we speak, PSG are on the verge of winning the league. I think they're going to be 6 points clear with 2 games left, but their goal difference is mighty. So they're on the verge. Dortmund are also... There's 1 game left in Bundesliga. Dortmund won today. Bayern Munich lost. So the end of Bayern Munich dominance, I'm absolutely rooting for it. Italy, Napoli wrapped up the league a couple of weeks ago. And then Spain, I think Barca won it. That was good as well. Did you see that? When they played against Espanyol, their biggest rivals, right? Yeah. They potentially relegated Espanyol and won the league at the same time. In Espanyol, and the fans stormed the pitch. Mate, that was scary. I would have been straight in the tunnel.
So when they lifted the trophy, I don't know if you remember when Rafinha kept Leeds in the Premier League last season, and he crawled across the pitch on his knees. Did you see that?
No.
Well, it's a part of his tradition or whatever. And when they celebrated and lifted the trophy and they threw Xavi up in the air to celebrate and whatnot, Rafinha's in the background and he's crawling across the pitch on his knees again as part of his weird tradition.
His tradition? Who the fuck does he think he is? Like he's got a legacy or something, the Muppet. I think there was on about him being sold.
Yeah.
Because they can't afford him.
Because Barcelona, they have to, is it something like 300 million that they've got to raise in the summer?
Yeah, I can't wait for the saga of Frenkie de Jong to begin all over again. So I've got to hear about Barcelona's life and how they've somehow raised another 500 million from a star that they've discovered as some bullshit. Or a treasure chest they found in the Titanic wreckage. Fucking Barcelona. But yeah, that's about it. I don't know if I've missed anything out there across Europe in the playoffs. Have you got any dog in the fight across any of them games?
I'd like to see Thomas Tuchel not win the league for a bit of vindication for Nagelsmann.
What do you mean vindication? Is it just because?
I don't think when you hire a project manager, you don't get rid of him in the first year. I think it's just it's a bit scummy of Bayern to do that.
Yeah, we were saying at the time, wasn't we? Because he was saying like something to do with the goals they've scored, and they've actually like scored so many goals in the games. And
yeah, you sell your top striker and you replace him with a winger. Of course, you're not going to score as many goals, Muppets.
yeah,
So that for me, that's a bit of vindication that Nagelsmann should have stayed there. I think if you sign a little bit like Graham Potter at Chelsea, if you sign a project manager that's going to build a team, give him full control and let him do his shit and allow him that time. Because like Arteta finished, what was it, 8th or something?
yeah, good example.
There's the vindication there to say, give a manager enough resources, the resources he needs and the time he needs, and he'll come through. Maybe
100%.
Graham Potter wouldn't have done it in the second season, but you give him that opportunity to do it at least. There's nothing that Graham Potter couldn't do that Frank Lampard has done, surely.
No, you spot on, to be fair. And I think just knowing that Oliver Kahn is going to be sleeping a little bit unsettled is probably good news for a lot of people, especially Nagelsmann. He's going to be having the last laugh, isn't he?
It's Oliver Kahn's wife, I feel sorry for.
What do you reckon's going on with Nagelsmann? It's gone a bit quiet on the old manager front. Where do you reckon we go with that? Because obviously Poch is now at Chelsea, isn't he? That's all but confirmed.
Mm. There was talks of Spurs, but I think he's rejected Spurs. I don't know where he goes.
Do you know what's hilarious as well? I can't remember if we mentioned it before, but Spurs rejected Ten Hag.
Did they?
Yeah, because he couldn't speak English.
No.
Let me get my violin out.
Neither can Harry Kane, so.
Oh dear. Harry Kane, that's another one. Is he going in the summer?
He has to.
United?
It suits him perfectly to go to Manchester United, but I think that Harry Kane is more of a creature of habit. I think he's just going to stay where he knows he's going to get game time and score goals. So he only needs a couple more seasons and he'll break Alan Shearer's record, and I think that's his target. So I wouldn't be surprised if he settles and just maybe even signs a new deal with Spurs, to be fair.
I'm warming more to the idea of signing Harry Kane as the time goes on, because I'm just thinking, he's second only to the biggest freak show in the Premier League ever in terms of goal scoring. 29, is it? He's got now 28, 29?
Something like that, yeah. I know he's second. Definitely.
As much as I'd prefer to have Osimhen, I'm warming to the idea that it could well be Harry Kane. He knows the league. He scores goals. We're crying out for just any striker that can do business. Was
it last season that he didn't come back for pre-season training and then went to play golf with Gary Neville and spill his heart out? Or was that the season before?
No, that was last season, because he was meant to go. Oh no, it was last season because he was meant to go before Grealish, right?
No, and then it was the season before. It was last season that Ronaldo came back late. That was it, because his kid was in hospital.
But yeah, I think he could well have ended up at Man City as well. But I don't know. I've just had a feeling for the longest time that he goes to Newcastle, because that's almost just like another perfect fit. But I don't know. Do you think you're guaranteed, if you're Harry Kane, where do you go? Obviously, looking at how Man United have come up and how Newcastle have come up, where do you go if you're Harry Kane? If you had the choice.
If I was Harry Kane, the first thing I'd do is I'd see a speech therapist, and then I would go to Manchester United for some game time, because I know that I'm going to get game time. Newcastle have signed Isaac for 60 million, so it's not a shoe-in that Harry Kane starts every week. Isaac is coming into form. Callum Wilson's playing well. Whereas Man United, they've got a chap on loan from Burnley. So surely he's first team striker as soon as he walks through the door.
That's funny. Itachi, welcome in. About to go to work. Hope you're having fun. Yeah, it's been a bit of a depressing day for football if you're not a Manchester City fan, but it's great other than that. Thank you very much for stopping by. Yeah, I think with Harry Kane, like you say, the Isaac is a very good point. He won't sit on the bench, but either one he goes to, the fans are absolutely going to love him. He will get game time, he will get goals, but surely, even with Isaac, surely you bench Isaac for the Prem top goal scorer, excluding Haaland.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I just think it would stunt the development of Isaac, and I think that Isaac will be a phenomenal player given the opportunity. So for me, if I'm Harry Kane, I would go to Manchester United.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That makes sense. It'd be interesting to see. Obviously, that's what we're going to talk about next. So coming up, that's everything all about covered. But coming up, we're back on the grind now. We've been off for a couple of weeks, but we are back in full swing. Recorded some TikTok content today, so that'll be getting leaked out throughout the week over on the TikTok. So again, if you haven't done so already, please go and give that a follow. Give this video a like as well if you haven't done so already. That will help us out very, very much. We do have one more video to do in the Pretend 11 series, which will be the final episode of the series, if you like. We might do another series later, but that one is going to be a combined 11 of all of our previous 11s. So keep an eye out for that. We don't know when it's going to be just yet, but we've just got a few more details to iron out. We're going to try and make a push to try and get more members in the Discord, build the community. We're going to have a Fantasy Premier League for everyone next season as well, where there's going to be potentially prizes involved, forfeits for the loser between me and Sean as well. It'll give us a little bit something extra to talk about on the podcast week in, week out too. But yeah, keep it locked in, guys. Thank you for coming back and supporting us. It's been much appreciated. Itachi Mode, Ben, Skills, Tanya, much appreciated for you coming out for the stream. Sean, any final thoughts, mate, before we head on out?
It's the last thing I want to say is today's the last day. Well, yesterday's the last day that we wear the black Arsenal shirt. I have loved every moment of the black Arsenal shirt. It's been sold out since March. So for me, it's a sad day yesterday, not only losing to Forest, but seeing that we'll never wear that black shirt again. And considering the shirts that I've seen leaked as away shirts, that green one is ghastly.
It's a collector's item.
I will not be buying that that green Arsenal shirt if that's the kit that we have. So
yeah. we've got a pretty shocking looking one, to be fair. The home kit looks nice, but the third kit is it looks like a Newcastle kit from a distance, but it's not actually black. It's like really dark green stripes. Really weird. But yeah, that's it. We'll head on now. I've had a week off work and I've got to go back tomorrow. So this is always a sad time for me when I know I'm back at work in the morning and ending the podcast. But yeah, we'll be back again soon, guys. As always, thank you very much for coming by and see you next time.
See you next time.